Welcome to my yurt. Now I just put that drape up there so it looks a lot less distracting than the mess in my studio. I know I've been making a lot of videos lately because I've been feeling very inspired lately, artistically, every other way. I've been writing lots and lots of comedy sketches and stuff like that, which I've always done, but I've had some great insights lately. I've I'm just been have just I've just been buzzing with a sense of get this stuff out of there and use what little talents I have in terms of my ability to do satire and irony to try and make a difference now, or at least make people think differently. This video is concerned with the idea that I don't understand how, one of the reasons, apart from the fact there's an inherent racism to it, I don't particularly like nationalism as in terms of war better than you, but I totally get the idea of indigenous rights, and that includes not just Native Americans, Aborigines, but it includes Gaelic people, Anglo-Saxon people, Nordic people, Vikings, whatever. I totally am down with that. It's something I believe strongly in. Not that they have the unique ownership to the land, but the idea that all cultures must be protected because the more diversity we have, the better chance we have of disrupting globalism. Now, I want to talk about the idea of English nationalism and English identity. One of the problems I have with the English Defence League and the BNP and the National Front over there is the fact that they have a big problem with foreign workers and foreign immigrants, but they don't have a problem with a foreign monarchy. You know, and they don't have this quest. I mean, I may be wrong. I'm not starting a row with any of these people, but I may be wrong. But they don't seem to have a pre-1066 identity in terms of English culture. It's always from the Anglo-Saxons, William the Conqueror on. In the same way, the Irish identity is St. Patrick on. That was the other infection. See, St. Patrick came to these islands, and he was the first blow against indigenous cultures. He was the Henry Kissinger of his time. And then the job was finished off by William the Conqueror, and then I think it was his son or his son-in-law, Strongbow, who came to Ireland and married Aoife, the Earls of Kilkenny and the Kings of Leinster and the Fitzgeralds and all that. And then Ireland was taken over, completely infected by the Romano-Teutonic virus that ultimately came through the black nobility in Venice and traced all the way back to Babylon. It's the same in archontic, when I call it. It's a good term, but just means ruler in Greek, archontic infection. Now, my attitude is that, like, I think if there's one thing, okay, you all know I'm very interested in the psychopaths, and I'm finding out like this is what we're dealing with. But if there's one thing I would love to see happen in my lifetime, would be the indigenous peoples of these islands banding together against the Romano-Prussian aristocratic elites. I'm talking about Irish people reclaiming their Gaelic identity, not their Celtic identity, but their Gaelic identity. See, there's none of this stuff that's Celtic. It's Gaelic. Celtic is a made-up thing. It just means foreigner in Roman. But these designs and artwork are common with Vikings, they're common with Anglo-Saxons, they're common with Picts, which shows we have a common kind of identity. And likewise with Germans, the Teutons, the Saxons, the Goths, the Visigoths, all these people, these are all the Slavs, these are all our people. These are all our people, These are all us, but we're just in different families, but we're the same thing. But we have no desire to have this divine right of kings on earth. That comes directly from the Babylonian sort of like idea through into Europe and into the Prussian aristocrats. I'm currently making a film called From Prussia with Love, which I hope will clear this what I'm trying to discuss up a bit better. And before you say I'm picking on Germans, no, I'm picking on the Prussian and the Germanic elite who are not Germans any more than the British royal family or English or British. So, and even the identity that the English Defence League and all the others have of St. George. Well, St. George was an Armenian. He probably never set. Chance are he never did set foot in England, but he's no more English than many of these these people they claim are foreign workers, foreign parasites, foreign spongers. The biggest foreign spongers of all are the royal families after 1066. William the Conqueror was a Frenchman. He came in, a Frenchman of Very complex background. I know the Normans were descended from Vikings that moved south, but the aristocrats had changed by that point. Very heavily related into southern French nobility, and this is interesting because that's a strong connection with the Middle East. And they were eventually replaced by the Hanoverians and the Prussian and the Germanic elites, aristocrats. And it's never been an English king or a British royalty ever for a very long time. And this is why I kind of get the idea of a king or a queen, specifically a warrior king, who is of the same blood of his people, the same culture of his. Not only in a racial sense, but he actually cares about his people, and he's willing to be standing in the front line in battle with the infantry, like kings, like the Gaelic kings, like the Anglo-Saxon kings did. Look at poor Harold at 1066. He got an arrow in the eyeball. He was on the battlefield. He wasn't behind. He was there in the front line. And this was after you had to fight back the Vikings at the Battle of Stamford Bridge. An awful mess, but I mean, it's amazing they got as far as they did at the Battle of Hastings. It just goes to show you that the Anglo-Saxon people, how strong they were, and they're still strong. That spirit is still in there, guys. And I often see videos on the internet where you have English people saying, "Come on, Ireland, stand up against the Europeans." Well, and we appreciate that, and we respect the words of our brothers and sisters over there. But I would like to return that compliment by saying, Britain, get out of England. Britain, get out of England. Now is the time to seize that opportunity. Scotland is about to get out of Britain, and Wales. The Welsh are smart people. Although they haven't been politically very tough, they've managed to keep their culture the strongest of all the races on all the kingdoms on this island to a tremendous degree, which they deserve a lot of respect for. I don't believe in this thing that the Welsh Taffy laid down. He didn't. He was smart. He was wise. He kept his language and he kept below the radar. And where the Irish and the Scottish, being Gaels, are more likely to go with swords. And we both can learn from each other. But I would like to say to my brothers and sisters in England, now is the time to reclaim your English identity. And if people say I'm romanticizing the pre-Christian heritage of Europe, I make no apology for that. I'm not saying we should go back to living in wicker homes and those kinds of things. I'm saying that there was something there that we've lost that we need to get back, because it's what will stand up against globalism is if we embrace our true heritage and incorporate it into our modern lives, and then the globalists won't stand a chance. So this may sound a bit patronizing, but I don't mean it to come across that way. It's purely as an expression of love. Britain, get out of England.